What's going on, guys? So through much antagonization from my wife, I decided to start posting these videos, the little projects we have going on around the house and things we're getting into. So the first one here is going to be our new purchase. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. Yes, our 2006 Range Rover Sport HSE. And I'm gonna go through the whole story of how we purchased it, some of the problems we've had, and some of the things I've fixed. And we're gonna go through trying to get this thing back on the road. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So first, we purchased this car as a salvage title at a vehicle auction. Salvage title listed as run and drive. However, the lie detector test determined that was a lie. To the credit, it was probably sitting for a while at the yard. I know for at least 3 to 6 months it was on the lot, so I'd imagine they probably didn't upkeep with. So first thing when we got the vehicle, obviously the battery was dead, right? So when we got the vehicle immediately, it wouldn't even take a jump start. So we swapped out the battery, and we got it running at least to pull it in the driveway, but it was not in a drivable condition. And I actually posted a video, and I'll probably snip it in here, of when we first tried to start it, got it started. It was a Christmas tree on the dashboard. I mean, every single light was on. And yeah, I'll go through how we fixed that. Oh, baby. So believe it or not, through a lot of research, looking through the forums, I found that to remove about 75% of the lights that were on the dashboard, believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, were brake light bulbs. So I went ahead, also found the brake light switch. So I replaced both those simultaneously, so I'm not sure which actually corrected the problem, but brake light switch will run you about 20 bucks online. And I just bought the aftermarket bulbs at AutoZone, so they weren't OEM. People recommended going straight to the Land Rover dealer, but I found that, you know, the ones from AutoZone did the trick. So I don't know how long they're gonna last, but they did the trick. So they removed that alone removed about 75% of the lights. And I'll probably do a good video. I had a little trouble. I think I found one video that actually showed how to replace a brake light switch, but super simple. Under the steering wheel, there's 2 panels. It's 2 screws. Pop them out, drop that panel down, and it's literally right there. It takes about 5 minutes. Super easy. You twist to the left and remove the brake light switch, unclip the connector and swap it, put the new one back in. It's super simple. Same with I did find one of the brake light filaments, the little wires on the end of the light were burnt a little bit, so that might have been causing the issue. But yeah, believe it or not, through my research, I found that actually causes the majority of the lights and causes that reaction for the vehicles. And so that got me pretty close to where I am now. So let me show you guys my dash. So as you can see, that removed almost all the lights. Check engine light's gone. It runs and drives. It's not doing the hazards or locks, unlocks. It removed all those errors. But it did give me, obviously, had to find what else is going on. So as you can see, the suspension is still acting up. So I'll start off with what it was doing, okay? So when I got it to that point, the suspension would raise to normal height only, and I would get error messages stating suspension fault, HDC fault, transmission fault, and it would drive fine, but I noticed the transmission would jerk. It wasn't shifting properly. So I did a whole bunch of research and browsed the forums, and I found, I was searching all kinds of different problems people were having, but one in particular caught my attention. So let me show you. So right here on this windshield trim piece, you can see right here, I found on one of the forums people were talking about the two modules that are right here under the hood, water leaking down into the modules. So as soon as I seen this trim piece is raised, there's actually a gap right here. I don't know if you can see it. I had to do a terrible quick fix and put some seal in there because the car was getting shipped across country, and I didn't want rain going back down in there after I replaced the module. But anyways, I'll put a couple pictures in here, and I'll show you guys how to get to that module and actually check the connectors. But there was actually water inside of the module. So when as soon as I unplugged the transfer case control module, as soon as I unplugged that module, you could see corrosion on the connectors. And then I actually removed the module. And as soon as I picked it up out, it started leaking water out of the module. So I took it all apart, and I'll show you guys the pictures. It was all burnt up and in bad condition. So I actually ordered a new module online. It ran about 125 bucks, and I replaced it. Now it's still having the same issues, and it won't raise to normal height like it was. So I'm messing with the front left ride height sensor right now, but from what I've read on the forums, that module actually has to be married to the car, and what that means is they have to match the VIN number. They basically have to program the computer to the car because they're each individual computers. And when I called the dealer, they're talking about $400 just to do that. So that's where I'm at now. I'll be posting a couple different videos, show you guys how to do all that, how to check all of it, and we'll go work from there. Also, I forgot to talk about could be a related issue. Maybe not. I'm looking into it, but when we got the car, on the passenger floorboard was actually soaked. It was a puddle of water. So we let it dry out, and I actually looked into it and found that the sunroof drain. So there's actually a drain that runs from the sunroof down this pillar and out the side vent right here. So it's actually inside of this side vent, and you can find videos on how to do it. I may do one to show you guys. It's not too complicated. I know this passenger side gave me a hard time actually running the hose. It's just because it's through the dash and you can't really see. But I did actually test it before I fixed it, and found both of these were worn out. So if you pull this vent, you actually lift up from the bottom and just pull them out. You can see where the hole where the rubber nose comes out, where it drains the water out. And both sides were completely rotted, and this side was actually missing in the inside the vehicle. So I guarantee that's where it was coming from. And just to, I don't know if you guys can see, I may do a video later on showing you that there's actually a wiring practically for the entire vehicle that runs all along the side there. So I'm going through now and inspecting each individual wire and making sure it's all good. But it is, it's still wet from months ago, so it's not good, but I'm looking into it. But that's another common issue that I found these Range Rovers having, is the sunroof leaking. So yeah, definitely something to look into. I'll keep you guys updated.